Good afternoon everyone, Blade here, and welcome back to another video of Duet Night Abyss. Inside today's video guys, we're going to be talking about demon wedges and the entire system going to boot with this, seeing that we finally had nearly a whole week to kind of decide exactly how these guys do work. So if you guys are interested in this, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and just tune in here. But the one thing I did want to say before we get into it is I do apologize today. This one's a little bit late than our normal time periods. It's not going to happen like this too often, but I did have to, of course, revise what I was going to be coming up with today, seeing that our first video was a little so I do apologize about that. We're going to go ahead and see if I can get 2 more videos out for you guys today, but just let me know. Till then, everybody, let's get straight into it. Now, demon wedges themselves, they are pretty much the equivalent to artifacts inside this game here, or for Warframe players, mods. Each one of these are going to help out your characters in different ways, and you will have to come to an understanding of how they all work and coexist with your characters. But not only is it a thing that affects your characters, but it also can affect your melee weapons, your ranged weapons, and even for some characters who have this, a consonance weapon. Each one of these things are going to make the character even better, and demon wedges are all a part of the system in order to make them the best character that they can actually be. But there's a few questions that arise for a lot of players, especially who are still getting used to this format. One of which is going to start off as where to get these guys. Well, if you look through the combat section here, you can press the commissions area, and the first thing to look at is the Nachtjäger manual. This is where you're usually going to get a lot of your basic type of demon wedges that you're going to see, stemming from level 20 that has grays and greens, all the way up to level 80 that unlocks at trial 60 that's going to start having blueprints in higher rarity demon wedges. All this is going to be very important for you guys because getting these guys are all going to be a part of the same system. You're usually going to go ahead and press one of these and press the go button. It's going to send you to a screen like this. Each one of the screens will send you to the same screen like this that's going to have a dungeon in which you will play through the dungeon. By beating the said dungeon, you're able to acquire any of these guys that are in the dungeon themselves, each one of them dealing different things here that you will have to read to figure out what works out best for your character. As you go up, you want to try to collect at least one of each of these things because they all do give you EXP, but not only that, they all are pretty dang nice. Some of them stem from giving you actual sanity and efficiency, while others can sometimes give you negative effects while giving you a bonus good effect. For example, we get 100% crit chance, but at the negative effect of taking down our attack speed by 60%. So it just comes down to whatever you really want to have for at least your whole character as a whole. But now we went over this, how does it really function? Where do we get this, and is there a cap to it? Well, one of the few things that you guys got to know is on your character, there will be a cap. This cap is called tolerance, in which the best way to think of it is, think that you're a kid that going to school and you have a backpack, right? There's only so much that you can carry in this backpack. Now, this is the same way. Our backpack is just called tolerance, and it does have a carrying cap. Sometimes the cap can be around like a base amount, which can be found on some of my other characters that will be around 90 tolerance. But when you get a different one in the middle here, it can actually extend said tolerance that will help you out a lot when coming down with builds. These you'll be able to get in different shops, so we're not going to go too crazy about this just yet. But now that we went over the backpack analogy here, let's talk about more of these slots. Once again, after you get the ones that you ended up crafting, you're then going to place these on your characters. Each one of these will have their own tolerance cap, so you will need to, of course, keep count of them, or you have to pay very close attention to this bar to know how much you can really fit on the character. All of this will be much so something you need to pay attention to, because if you don't have enough caps, well then part of your character is going to be done and the other part is not going to be done. So we do have to, of course, keep that in mind. Now, there is something that's a little bit weird about the picture. Some of them are gray and then some of them are green. What's the difference there? Well, this difference is going to come down to at least the track modules. Now, this button here in the middle that's really huge here, hard to miss, is called the adjust slot track. By going ahead and using these 2 items, being the track shift module or the weapon track shift module, you're able to change these slots into something a little bit better. If the slot does require a certain thing that's 24 24 of our tolerance, if we change it to the same icon, much like the one that we're wearing right now, it can actually cut that tolerance in half, making the slot now efficient for that said item. So these are something that you're going to end up using, but keep in mind, you don't get many of these guys too often, so use them very wisely. Now, a good thing about these tracking modules is you are able to craft them inside of the craft section or the forge section. It just takes a lot of different things that are very expensive. One of those things is going to be gold sand that you guys are going to get really acquainted with, and the other one is going to be the repulsed crystal. So be sure to be very careful when making these builds. But now we went over the track modules and exactly how these do work here. What is the difference? How exactly do we come up with what we have today as our builds? Well, one thing that you will know when you're making your builds is certain things cannot go together, and it's not only going to be based on the character, but it also can be the name of the module itself, or at least the name of the demon wedge itself. So for example, let's take the Prime Resolve here. As you see, the name is Typhoon's Prime Resolve. Well, if we look at this, there's another one down here that is also called the same thing, but Moral. The only issue is they can't go together. Well, for some of these little demon wedges here, you won't be able to place them together, and it's due to the naming category. Since that one's also Typhon's Prime and this one's Typhon's Prime, they're not able to go on the same character. But for some things that are in the demon wedge category, this isn't instinctively all true. For example, you guys can see I have 3 Blaze Volitions on this character, which a lot of us are like, that shouldn't be possible. Well, as long as they are the same rarity, and if they're part of these specific type things, some of the effects will actually have something that says once upgraded to +5, you can equip them multiple times. So it allows you to do some very unique little set effects that can allow your characters to be very broken. But it has to say this in order to happen. You can't just do this with any of your demon wedges. It does have to say this if you wanted to do it multiple times. And the same can go for higher rarities. As you guys can see, I have a gold one here, but one of the golds here is called a Eternity Gold, the Covenator Wings Eternity. Well, on some of my other characters, I have Covenator Wings Eternity as well, but it is a purple version. If I wanted them to be put together here, we would need to get our gold one to +5 first and do such in order to allow us to use a different one. But the only difference here is if we wanted to use another one of these guys, they will need to of course get a +5 and be the same rarity. If they aren't a +5 at that point to get this said rarity, you won't be able to put them on at the same time. So try to keep that in mind. Now the next thing that we're going to go over is the Amplifying System. The Amplifying System unlocks when you get a gold type, what's it called, demon wedge here. And the way of getting these guys is very convoluted. It's one of the few ways that a lot of people keep getting confused with, and I'll try to explain it to my base capability. But whenever you're working with your purple ones here, at a certain point you are going to need to get golds. Golds themselves you need to have a actual blueprint for, and once you do have that said blueprint, you then need 4 purple demon wedges, much like this one here, to then, or at least 5 purple demon wedges, my apologies here, 5 purple demon wedges here to then go over a forging limit, being the 30 minutes here, and eventually they will turn into one of these guys. Only thing is, they're going to be pretty much the same status effects as a purple until you start to amplify them. The Amplifying System requires at least 2 of those golds, one to keep on yourself and then another to go ahead and feed to that other gold. So if we wanted this one to get even better, or at least, yes, wanted this Eternity to get better, we have to first have this gold itself, then get another Eternity gold, press the Amplify button, place that other Eternity gold in here, and this allows not only just your tolerance to go up, but both your skills that's being affected to go up accordingly. All of this is going to be very important, but that's more of the in-game stuff, so don't worry your pretty little heads about that until of course you have to do it. Then at that point you can start worrying. But with that in mind here, there's also going to be a few other things that are somewhat important to know. These guys are going to take a lot of resource management, so you do want to make sure you're doing this correctly and making sure you're dealing with it correctly as well. Sometimes with our resources such as the track modules, you won't always need to take down some of them with the amount that we have. Other times you might need to because you might hit the cap too fast. So just be very careful when you are utilizing these. Now the last part of the video before we end up closing out is mainly going to revolve around just demon wedges themselves and where you can really see these guys and how they give you some EXP out of it. Well, if you go ahead and press the thing called the Demon Wedge Casket here, there's going to be various different ways of getting Demon Wedges. One of them is going to be the Consonance way, which I do need to explain that as well. So I guess this won't be the final place. I forgot to write that in my notepad, but this won't be the final place where we ended off, but the next section will be. Inside this little area here, depending on if you gathered them, you're getting EXP for every last one of them. Think of it as a Pokédex really for our whole Demon Wedges. Just, I guess we can call it the Demon Dex, I guess, or the Wedge Dex itself. By getting one of each of these, you are getting some EXP out of the ordeal, and it will help you get up your account level a lot faster than normal. So if you're able to, be sure to go ahead and knock these out as fast as possible, or at least get one of each of them. Though the gold ones is a little bit psychotic, so I mean, like, take your time with those. Every time you complete a whole set, you'll end up getting some of these secret letter clues, which is always going to be great. But the ones for the man of the hour, I guess you could say, is going to be the melee Consonance weapon ones and the ranged Consonance weapon ones. These are kind of in a special degree. The only way you're able to get these type of Demon Wedges if you go into this place called the Spindle of Fate, which is a shop. Now the Spindle of Fate is a shop that's attached to one of the other game modes called the Mystic Maze that you can find in your event section. After you go ahead and clear the Mystic Maze a few times, you'll get some of these actual spreads of times here, and by getting these you can exchange them all out. Once again, they do give you EXP for getting them for the first time, but these ones are a little bit special because these all stay here for at least a time period. But if they are purple and up, these guys you only have around 28 days to go ahead and get. So you might want to grind them as fast as possible when you get the chance to. Still, it's definitely a huge grind when it comes down to the Demon Wedges themselves. So that is everything I really wanted to go over for the video here. If you guys did like it, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It really does help me out a lot. I had to really get everything inside my notepad to really know exactly what I wanted to talk about today. So I do apologize that this one is a late video, but next time we'll be on time. So look forward to it. But till then, everybody, peace out.